Is Gabby gonna fight Craig Jones?
Yeah, it's Gabby. It's
Gabby.
My
God.
Isn't that great?
All right. So I saw her with her friend at this place that was like, what do you want to call it? It's like soup and salad place because it was like day before weigh-ins and stuff like that. She's like 2 feet taller than me. That's going to be an interesting fight. The Craig Jones and Gabby. Yeah, I mean.
Welcome back to the BJJ Fanatics podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Ford. My guest today is a cult icon in the jiu-jitsu community. He's a 4th degree black belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, a no-gi world champion, a multiple-time Pan Am's champion. He's currently teaching at La Marinda Jiu-Jitsu in Lafayette, California, just outside of San Francisco, as well as Health Gracie Academy in downtown San Francisco. You may have seen him on TV as he was featured on Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown, and his move of the week has been a hit on YouTube for over a decade now. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me for his 32nd appearance on the show, my good friend Kurt Osiander. How are you today, Kurt?
What's up?
You looking good, Kurt. You're looking trimmer, man.
I am. I'm my belt ties the right way now. It's back. It's before the fall. It's back to before the fall. I can tie it. My belt says Kurt O now instead of like just barely being tied by the very tips of the fucking belt.
That's outstanding. So what have you been doing? Just been lifting weights? What's been on the
Yeah, no, I'm training more, and I've been lifting now for 3 months, and everything pretty much came off. You know, I don't eat really badly. I eat pretty healthy, you know. I eat a lot of salad and eggs and chicken and meat, you know, and tortillas.
And tortillas, of course. You can't forget the tortillas. Do you make quesadillas with the tortillas?
I make quesadillas, yep, with jalapenos.
That's great, man. Do you meal prep or do you make just whatever you feel like?
No,
each day?
I just get it and then fucking cut it up and then prep it and cook it all at once.
That's awesome, dude. Well, you're looking really good, man. You definitely gained some during your surgery, which is to be expected, and so now you're back to where you were pre-surgery.
Yeah,
that didn't take very long, man. You only started lifting again a couple months ago, didn't you?
Yeah, it's gonna be like 3 months, like I think in 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, and so that's about it. And I've got full range of motion. I'm squatting. I'm lunging. I'm doing a lot of stuff for my shoulders and stuff like that. Where they were frozen really bad. You know, from jiu-jitsu, it just takes so much damage, you know. And so I'm working on my range of motion so I can raise my hands when I get arrested. And
that's important. Yeah, that's an important function. Yeah,
it's important. They don't accept this.
No, he's resisting.
They're like, man, I'm not resisting. I'm not resisting. I'm a jiu-jitsu guy. I can't lift my arms.
Oh, that's great. Do you ever do any like chiropractic or anything like that?
No, I haven't for years. I haven't done chiropractic. As soon as I fixed the one hip, my back stopped hurting. So it was all hip related, I imagine. And then I haven't had it. The only thing that bothers me now is doing hard labor. I hate it. Like, I can do jiu-jitsu all day, but as soon as I go out in the backyard, and I was just out there, it's like, fuck, what happened? I can't. I used to be able to like slave really good, you know, in the sun, and now I'm just like, God damn, I do a couple things, I have to take a break because my back bothers me. And I'm always, is this psychosomatic or what?
When I was younger, I used to work on construction sites. You and I have talked about this many times on the show before in the past, but there was always the guys that were like over 50 or over 40 who had to take like frequent breaks. And I was always kind of like, man, dude, how come that guy gets to take so many breaks? Now that I'm almost 40 myself, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, I get it. Like, you know, like when you're doing physical labor and it's hot out, man, it hits different when you're not 20 years old, you know?
Yeah, totally. So I was out, you know, and then it's like the big garbage day is coming up. And so we bagged up a bunch of stuff and then had to hump it out to the curb and put it in a nice orderly pile, you know, because they'll come and get extra garbage this week. So I try to clear out as much garbage as possible. And then that's about it. I got the front yard done and the backyard is now started. So
that's awesome, dude. Well, man, you're looking good, man. I'm really happy to see the results of your diet and your exercise that you're doing. And obviously the surgery went well. I'm going to start telling everybody that you're a vegan that started doing yoga. I'm just going to start spreading that. You don't think so? You don't think you'll ever go for like yoga and do some veganism?
No, yoga's good. I like yoga, but I'll eat meat. I'm going to eat whatever there is. And if it's vegetarians, I'll eat them too.
That's awesome, man. Well, so you've been watching Fallout as per my suggestion. What are your thoughts?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was really good. I guess there was only one series, right? In the end, you know, she runs off with the Skull guy, who's a really awesome actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's awesome. And then it's got Kyle MacLachlan in it, and he's like the villain. So it's an awesome series. I watched the whole thing. There isn't any more after that, right? It hasn't come out, right?
I think, yeah. If that's not the end of it, no. Yeah, I think there is supposed to be more coming. I think because they kind of left it on kind of a cliffhanger, didn't they? Didn't they leave it?
Well, he was like the Brotherhood was coming, and they were gonna get to the hydrogen, the hydrogen power source and everything. And he was like, look, I'm going after your dad. And so she goes with him and everything. So I thought it was a really well done series. It was cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. As someone that played the games all through like high school and I think that came out when I was in like either late middle school or early high school. But I've been playing since the very beginning, like on PC back in the day. And so there's all these cool little nods that they would make throughout the show that where if you played the game, it's even cooler because you pick up these little Easter eggs they threw around.
The best part is those guys come in the big like armored person carrier.
Yeah, the power suit.
You know, I used to wear that suit, and there was a flaw. And it was in the chest, right below the chest area, and then all of a sudden the lights go out, and you hear do 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 do, and then they're all down with fucking chest shots and shit. So
they really executed well on the show for sure. Did you get to play?
No, I thought it was. I didn't play the game.
You got to play it, man. You got to try.
I'm gonna. Well, what format is it on?
So, okay, do you prefer playing on a computer or do you have a video game console?
I have a Mac PC, but I don't know if that puts in disc, does it?
You can get Steam. There's this thing called Steam, and it's basically a online based gaming platform, and you can get all the Fallouts on that for sure.
All right.
I think you might like the original RPG style better. It looks more like kind of like a tabletop board game. You know, like you've seen like the old like Warhammer games or like Dungeons and Dragons back in the day. It's kind of like that, but it's digital. And it's turn based, so you take turns, you know, making your decisions and making your movements and stuff. And then later on, they did actual like first person shooter type games, which are also awesome. So it just depends what you're into. I don't know what your experience with video games is.
What game platform is it on?
You can get it on PS4 or PS5, or you can just use your computer.
All right. I have PS4.
Oh, dude, if you have PS4, you should I recommend getting Fallout 4. Fallout 4 was really, really good. It was my favorite one. It takes place in Boston, modern, like post-apocalyptic Boston. And the game's crazy, dude. There's so many like crazy things that you run into. There's like raiders and there's MIT, so they don't call it MIT, they call it the Institute. But basically the technology that was in MIT, some of the scientists still are alive and create synthetic humans. And so there's like these iRobot kind of looking people running around that try to kill you, and they all work for the powers that be at MIT. And then there's super mutants, and then there's all these crazy mutated animals. So there's like bears that are all mutated, and mosquitoes that are the size of a car.
I like when they showed the California flag with the grizzly bear on it with two heads.
The mutated bear.
And I was like, that's awesome. Oh, I need that flag.
That would be great. Yeah. I'll send you a link on where you can get the game. In fact, I might just buy it for you. No, I'll buy you the game. And I'll have it sent to your place. Then you play it and tell me what you think. We can
all right.
We can stream and play at some point. That'd be fun. But
right.
And the two-headed bear flag, I laughed at that as well, man. Dude, there's a lot of crazy animal stuff going on out in California, like with mountain lions and bears coming in, like encroaching more and more.
Dude,
do you get animals?
There was two.
Yeah.
Dude, there was two kids hiking like close by here, and a mountain lion jumped out and attacked them.
Oh damn, dude!
And it killed the guy's brother.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, animals are no joke. I mean, and the thing is, like, as we expand into their territory, and they're like, "Hey, this is my fucking hunting grounds and shit," and now you're on the menu, right? And so, of course, they found the mountain lion in question and shot him repeatedly. Yeah, he's prone to eat people, and so that's not a good thing. So we got to get rid of that mountain lion. Poor fucker. You know, he was just doing what comes natural.
I have a new question I've added to the Pummel game because you've played the Pummel so many times that we just quit playing it with you. We do like the questions, the user submitted, listener submitted questions now. But one of the questions that's newer that I added that I haven't asked you before is, what's the largest animal you think you could beat in hand-to-hand combat?
Wow.
What's the biggest animal you could beat?
That's pretty fucking tough. You ever fought a fucking house cat?
That's what I'm saying, dude.
All right. So look, a house cat is especially a fucking tom, and it's a big, house cat, and it doesn't live in the house. It lives outside of your house. That fucker will fuck you up unless you fucking grab him really hard, and fucking twist his head off. A large animal that I could kill. Do I have a weapon?
No, you're completely unarmed. It's you and your jiu-jitsu.
Okay. Well, I've beaten pit bulls.
You've beaten pit bulls. Okay, I have to hear the story, but continue. We'll come back. We'll circle back to your pit bull fight story.
Yeah, I beat a pit bull. You just got to take their back just like you do with people and choke them. Yeah. That's the only thing. You didn't guillotine them, but they're still biting you.
Yeah, they're getting like your ribs and your obliques. Yeah, your oblique muscles are flying
out.
Like,
oh my God, please go unconscious. I don't know. I mean, if the circumstances were right and everything, fuck. A raccoon would be fucking tough, bro. Raccoon. Fuck. A mountain lion, shit. You'd have to get a pretty good fucking jump. He's going to jump you, okay?
Mountain lions, that's a tough one, yeah.
That's a tough one right there. I mean, it took out two kids. It injured one of the kids, but it fucking straight up killed the other kid and jumped on him, grabbed him by his neck. And that's their MO. That's their thing. Just like me. I'm going to jump on your neck. Why? Because if I break your arm, you'll still fight. But if I choke you unconscious, you're unconscious. So that was always taught to me by Halp. Halp always said that, fuck breaking their arm. Choke them. But, man, I mean, a large dog, that's going to be tough too. Fuck. Like the Corso and those other fucking crazy large dogs and shit, they'll fuck you up. But they're in a pack too, so you're not just fighting one of them. In fact, dude, there was this fucking live shot of this park in San Francisco. And needless to say, this guy's like, whoa, what the fuck? And some people raise their dogs wrong, but this guy suddenly gets attacked by two pit bulls. Oh. And they're fucking his shit up badly. They're like jumping on him. One's biting him. He's trying to fend that one off. The other one's biting him. Finally, he gets up. He gets like detached from them and he jumps onto this fence up high and shit. But the guy got fucking bit really bad. And of course, the people who owned those dogs were in the hood, and they were arrested and the dogs were euthanized, you know. But it was gnarly. It was gnarly to watch.
That's crazy.
It was a really bad attack.
Wow.
And now that San Francisco is kind of going the way of like how London is like you can't perpetrate a crime. You know what I'm saying? It's like license plate readers. There's cameras on every corner. There's camera. Everybody's got their camera. There's always going to be footage of you doing something. If you're doing something bad, that's the only reason why you got to worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like a surveillance state. Yeah.
And pretty soon it's going to be like, no, that guy cannot go into the store.
Yeah. His money's not accepted. They're going to turn off his chip.
Yeah.
But what's the biggest animal you think? What do you think?
The biggest animal? Big dog. Big dog. Maybe bobcat. Maybe. Fuck, cats are fucking ferocious.
I was going to say, bro, if a house cat's difficult, a bobcat's like a whole nother level.
Bobcat is 60 pounds.
Yeah.
And then a hound lion's like 180 pounds. So he's like your size, but a really large cat with fucking really big teeth and claws. So he'll fucking eviscerate you.
I think most people don't realize the difference between humans and most animals. Like I've asked the question to over 100 people at this point on the show, and I get interesting answers sometimes. Like there's some people that really believe they can take on like a croc or like a mountain lion, and it's just like, man, maybe you can, maybe you can somehow get to their back. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying.
Well,
that's a huge.
It depends. If I'm hunting for food, then I have a machete or some sort of bladed instrument, and I've made many spears, and I'm gonna fucking whack that guy in the head and then stab him repeatedly.
Yeah, like
a psychopath, you know. I think a crocodile would be easier than a fucking mountain lion.
Yeah, I see people. There's a guy on Instagram I follow. I think his name is like Blue Collar Grappler. I think that's his name. And this guy like wrestles. Like he'll go out to calls and jump on the backs of alligators and like wrestle them down. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, and he'll like wrestle them down and duct tape their mouth shut and then remove them from people's properties. So I guess if you have the technique,
well, that's his job, and he knows what he's fucking doing.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that you can see plenty of evidence that it is possible for a man to do that to a croc. But man,
you got to get that whole shot.
Yeah.
It's not like you're gonna square off with him, because if you square off with him, he's gonna fucking bite you, death roll, and pin you underneath the logs for you to soften up until he can eat you real right.
Exactly. Yeah. Not a good way to end your life. Definitely not. The other thing people think about wolves, like, so I think a lot of people are under the impression that a wolf is like the size of a German Shepherd. Dude, they're massive. And I've tried to, and I've had multiple friends say it. It's like, we've had these conversations just with friends off air and stuff where it's like, oh, dude, I think I could kill a wolf. It's like, dude, do you know how big a wolf is? They're huge, man. They're huge.
They're big. They're tall. They're kind of lanky looking and everything, but their bite force is even bigger because they crack open the bones deliberately to get the marrow. Yeah. So I don't know about a wolf, and usually they don't hunt by themselves either.
No,
you're not gonna encounter them solo. They're gonna be in a pack. And then the other day, bro, I always watch fucking nature and shit. And they're like talking about how a pack moves. And they're like, okay, so the front of the pack is all like the fucking young, virile, and heavily violent fucking front runners, right? And then there's like the young ones, the old ones, and then the lady wolves. And then there's the fucking veterans in the back. And then they got one guy running fucking the tail end. He's just solo. But those guys, they move like in a orderly fashion. And so if anything goes off anywhere, all of a sudden they swarm you. It's not going to be one wolf. One wolf. You're going to be wolf. Instead of jumped, you're going to get wolf.
Man, I have an uncle that lives in Idaho, and he hunts for like elk during the season. And he had a story where one time they shot an elk and they had to basically lug it like a mile and a half to get back to their vehicle. And it was kind of getting dark. And he said that they started noticing that there was just like stuff going on around them in the woods. Like they could hear stuff and kind of like rustling. And as they got back to the truck, they realized that there was not an alpha, but like what do you call it? Like a scout wolf sitting up there on top of the hill, like looking at them. And then as they started loading the thing up and driving off, they realized that there was already like a pattern of wolves that were around them on the road. Like they'd already had one kind of observing them, a couple behind them and a couple in front. And they were like, dude, thank God we're in the truck, because.
Oh, fuck yeah. Because they were going to take that moose from them.
Yeah, exactly. That would not have been good.
They're like, thanks for killing that for us. We'll take that now.
I'll go ahead and alleviate you of your elk, sir. Dude, have you ever, another one I hear people say is that they feel like they could grapple a chimp. And that one blows my mind because, like, dude, chimps are like the strength of 8 men.
He's going to pull your dick off.
Exactly.
He's going to eat your face and bite off your fingers and pull off your dick all at one time.
That's actually exactly what they do. Yeah.
So, yeah. And even a small little monkey, like those little ones like that, if that little monkey got pissed at you, he's pulling something off of you, okay? Whether it be your ear, your nose, your eyeball, I don't know, but fuck that. No, monkeys are like, I guess their muscle density is way denser than ours, and that's why they're so strong. Plus, they got fucking 4 hands. They're gonna be pulling your dick off with their foot. While he grabs you like this and he's biting your face, he's grabbing your dick.
They're excellent guard players for sure.
Yeah,
Did you ever see the story about the lady in Connecticut that had that chimp as a pet and it hit maturity and killed? Oh, dude, that was a gut-wrenching story.
She would sedate him with Xanax and stuff like that.
It's like, dude, if you have a pet that you have to sedate with Xanax, you might want to give him up for adoption. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that might be a red flag.
I know you love this creature, but it did exactly what it ate her face, right, and bit off her fingers. It's like, how take that? Now give me my Xanax.
Give me my happy pills. Dude, the reason I brought that up, there was the cop, they interviewed the cop that first arrived to the scene where it was all happening. And he said that the chimp basically ran out into the driveway to confront him. And he was like in his car. He's like, dude, okay, I'm not going to get out. The chimp kind of was trying to open the door. It was trying to open the door of his car. And it couldn't.
It wanted some more face.
Yeah, it couldn't open the door. So there's the mounted light that they have on the side of the cop car where they kind of articulate it to point.
Yeah, the one that. Yeah.
So he said
the searchlight.
Yeah, the searchlight. He said, and this thing's like welded. It's like bolted and welded to the side of the cop car. He said in one backhand swipe, the chimp hit it and it went flying up almost to the porch of the house. And it was just like literally like a quick swipe. And that's when the guy was like, dude, there's no way I'm getting out of this car. And
fuck no.
I think if I remember correctly, I hope I'm not embellishing on this or thinking of a different thing, but I think the guy shot the chimp as it was getting into his car. Didn't it figure out how to get into the car?
I don't know. I don't remember. I remember the attack and everything. I don't remember the.
I have to look that up.
The post stuff.
Yeah, I have to look that up because I thought what happened was that the chimp got into the vehicle and the cop had to shoot it with a shotgun. Hang on one sec. I'm gonna look that up. Here's what it is. So they arrived. Travis, the chimp, headed toward the police car, tried to open a locked passenger door, and smashed a side view, the mounted mirror thing. Then he went.
Right.
Then he went to the driver's side of the door and opened it. Yeah, so I was right.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Officer Frank Chiafari shot him 4 times with his service pistol. The chimp retreated into the house where he was found dead next to his cage. Dude, that's wild, man. You imagine that?
Yeah.
Could you imagine being a cop? Like you think you're going to have just another day where you're like writing tickets and like answering like, roommate disturbances and stuff, and a chimp is suddenly in your face.
And the thing is trying to get in your car and kill you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude, speaking of monkeys, man, it's kind of bringing this back towards jiu-jitsu. So I found one of your videos the other day. I was looking for a particular solution to a takedown I've been trying to work on. And I came across your old video of the Tarzan takedown. Your move of the week.
Oh, yeah. That one works really great.
That's money. That's a really good so I was actually looking.
No, it's really good.
Yeah. I was looking for something completely different, and then I was like, okay, I have to put that into my notes for tomorrow's training, and then I landed. I hit it in training, which was cool. So,
oh man, what's cool about that move is like you can do it gi or gi-less. You know what I'm saying? So you either collar tie and inside tie, and then you make him step with your hand side. I make him step, and then I swing like fucking Tarzan in like a burnout around his leg like a Camaro, you know? Whoa! And then you could stand up with it, or you can, or if his head is over his knees, you just keep pulling his head down, and he'll go on the ground. You know, it's a really safe takedown.
It is awesome, dude. Yeah, it's really cool. I like that it's something that you can do in both gi and no gi. I think the gi seems like it would be even easier though, because you're swinging on the lapel like a vine, like you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. For people out there listening that don't know what we're talking about, just look up Kurt Osiander Tarzan takedown on YouTube. You'll find it. But how long have you been using that? Is that something you've used for a long time?
That's because I had a lot of D1 wrestlers, and so I got really good instruction and everything. I was never going to be a D1 wrestler, but I got really good instruction. And so I did a lot of the wrestling, and then I did a lot of judo with guys from fucking Russia and Croatia and Armenia and shit, which was like a fucking death challenge every night. And then because they're not fucking around. No. Those guys are no, practice is fucking, this is to the death. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And you know, yeah. And those guys are fucking tough.
Yeah, they are.
God damn. And so between the two, which was really good wrestling and judo, I kind of like mixed it together. And then I was going, what's going to work for me, whether I'm in my gi or without my gi? And so I kind of developed that kind of a style where I can do forward throws or takedowns or single leg or double leg or fireman's carry. You know, and then I was going, okay, all these things will work with my gi or without my gi.
You said you do a little bit of wrestling and judo style. Which do you prefer? Do you have a preference between judo style throws or wrestling takedowns?
Like the whole thing is about the setup, right? So I think that the grips don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Because my katagaruma, which would be the judo version of fireman's carry. And so, you know, that's a solid takedown, you know, it's a solid takedown in either venue. And same thing with the Tarzan takedown, you know, and then like, I like doing throws that don't turn your back totally. Like I'd rather be sideways so that they fall over you rather than get the chance to throw the hooks in. Right. So I do a lot of, like a lot of drops, but I'm in front of them like this. I'm crossways instead of going like in line with them. I'm usually like really sheer to them so that they're gonna trip over me.
That's cool. Yeah.
Right.
That's cool, man. What are some of your most reliable takedowns besides the Tarzan? What are some other ones that you found to be really reliable?
I do a armless katagaruma, which is like wrestling and judo, because the Japanese don't allow you to touch the leg on a forward throw.
Yeah.
You have to completely turn around and then turn back in, and then you can touch the leg, because fucking all of the Eastern Bloc countries are fucking them up. They're like, okay, the rules are changed. Yeah. Right? So and so yeah, I like the no arm katagaruma. I like seonagi. I like taotoshi. You know, and then there's a lot of them that are like wrestling based also. So if you do like Greco stuff works really great for fucking upper body, right? Because you're gonna clinch up. That's my thought. You're not gonna be like sitting away from the guy when it's an altercation, right? You're gonna punch your way in and then close the distance and then ram him against something and then put him on bottom, right? So I think that a lot of things work best when you're clinched up. So that's my goal, is to definitely get close to you. And if you want to shoot, that's fine. I got a good sprawl and everything and cross face. And then and that's my position too. I like to work there.
Do you do a lot of defensive wrestling as part of your setups? Because I find that I have better success when I'm countering someone trying to shoot at me. That's me personally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, because if I get the sprawl and I'm good at loop chokes and stuff like that, and so if I get the sprawl, I'm cool, right? Because I'm gonna go behind and I'm gonna start to work. If I don't get the sprawl, I immediately sit back correctly and I go into omoplata. Nice. Because those guys they just can't help it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That they're coming in and they're grabbing me and I go, okay, and then I'll just scoop my hips in omoplata right now. And that usually it'll flip them over, it'll make them go, holy shit, and back up, and then I get back up again. Yeah. Right? I always go omoplata. Whenever in doubt, it's gonna be omoplata. Anything goes wrong, and the guy's kind of passing. I'm going to off angle. I'm going to grab my own leg and put it over here. Nice. But I just have to make sure that I'm on my hip, because then you don't need flexibility. You just need angle.
There's a classic picture of you catching me in an omoplata at that seminar in Alabama we went to. And I'll post that up on my Instagram for people out there. If you want to see at Gringo Ryan on Instagram, I'll show you. I'll post it there for you guys to see. But it's hilarious. It's a very funny picture of Kurt also refusing to relinquish the omoplata so the photographer could get the picture in time. One of my good memories of Kurt's seminars. You mentioned the setups obviously being really important with takedowns, getting people to step forward with the Tarzan takedown, for example, and that's true of all takedowns. You definitely have to set things up. What do you think are some of the most important concepts to understand for setting up takedowns in general that are kind of valid across the board?
I think it's all about circling, right? Always creating angle, right? If you just push towards the guy, you're loading yourself. And if I'm pulling myself, I'm leaving my feet behind. So I think it's a lot of pull and push and always angling out, always angling. Because you can always step in front or go behind and stuff like that. But it's always best to circle away, to circle out, right? Because if they do shoot and you're circling, you're not in front of them anymore, right?
Do you think that takedowns are lacking in most jiu-jitsu schools to this day? Is that something that you see as a weakness in a lot of people?
I don't think that's the case anymore, because in the old days, we did learn takedowns. They were more traditional judo stuff because it was, from the Gracies and stuff. And so then, of course, after, UFC, the first one, a lot of wrestlers came in because, after college, there's no more wrestling unless you go to big time wrestling. Yeah. And so a lot of wrestlers came in, and I think that wrestling integrated into the jiu-jitsu community, and I think that's not a lacking facet of jiu-jitsu anymore at all. I think that, that's what I tell my guys. I'm like, and he's all, I'm going to practice a jump to guard. I'm all, then fucking jump to close guard. Why would you fucking jump to open guard? That's what the fucking guy on top wants. Yes. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like best to go somewhere correct, right? And then if you can, implement your takedown that you're up on points, you're up on top, the guy has to run, he has to chase you, right? And I think atrás.
Yeah, that's right, man. Now, I definitely agree with you. There's been a lot of really great integration of wrestling into jiu-jitsu over the years, and it's really cool to see, because I think that when I first started training many years ago, there was, at least where I was and a lot of the schools that I would visit, there wasn't a tremendous focus on the feet. And nowadays, you see a lot more places doing training sessions that start from the feet and at least addressing wrestling and judo concepts into day-to-day training.
What's really impressive is, like, I watch UFC every weekend and stuff like that, that Brazil's got guys that are fucking really good at stand-up and then learn how to do anti-wrestling and then wrestle, and they're fucking taking down guys that are, like, really good. But they have to understand they might have been, whatever, a silver medalist or whatever. But if you're getting socked in the face, then you get taken down no matter who you are.
Yeah.
But that's what's really impressive is, like, a lot of the Brazilian guys have really, really, really fucking, really fluid stand up. And then they have really great takedown defense and takedowns now.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns about leaving where I was training in the U.S. when I moved down here. Is, my instructor back home is Paul Creighton. He's one of Henzo's original black belts, and he was a junior college national wrestler. He was a very, very, very talented wrestler in college, and he always integrated wrestling concepts into our training. So it's something that we were always very comfortable with. Once I came to Brazil, I was like, yeah, okay, I don't know how much wrestling influences down here. Of course, being at Damian Maya's school, Damian is a very good wrestler.
Damian's got fucking really good wrestling.
Yeah, he's a great wrestler. And he also really pursues it too. Like he goes up to New Jersey and like to Hoboken and like to New York, to Columbia University's wrestling team, and trains with them whenever he can. So he's always actively seeking it. So I've been lucky to be in that position. There hasn't been much of a deficit in wrestling. But then when I'm training with guys, like when we go to the competition class and I'm with like his guys, his competitors and stuff, like, dude, those guys can wrestle, man. Like these guys are really, really savvy on the feet. So I'm learning a lot from them, which is cool. So
it's really cool how everything escalates.
Yes.
And will continue to escalate.
Yeah.
And will continue to escalate.
Yeah. Yeah. Another thing I've seen down here is the knowledge of leg locks. Like I think that the leg lock level is really rising from the places I've trained down here so far. Like people are pretty savvy to the leg entanglement game, which is cool.
All you got to do is stay on your fucking knees. Fuck. You know what? And I used to be like really into my toreando and stuff. And now these guys are all about fucking leg entanglements. And I'm all, well, I'll just not give you any space. And they're like, I can't go under. I'm like, there's nothing under me except for me and the floor. And I'm like this far on the floor with pressure. So, and they're like, why won't you get up or do something? I'm all, fuck that. I'm like an iceberg. Right? And they're like, pass faster. And I'm like, no, there's no need for me to pass fast. I'm gonna pass and it's coming and you can't stop it. And they're like, fuck, because that fucks them up. As soon as you like lift up one leg, they're gonna go underneath it. And if you stand up, they go, yes. And everything opened up for them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, they're looking to elevate you to get that entry underneath for sure. Do you play a lot of leg locks now, or is that something you've explored upon? No, not really,
bro. No.
Oh, dude, they're fun, man. They're fun.
It doesn't kill a person.
Neither does the armbar, though.
Exactly. That's why you choke everybody.
Okay, so you don't do it. You don't mess with the limbs. You just choke people.
No, I do. I mess with the limbs, but it's usually like I'll do certain things to get them to think that I want that. But it's not what I want. It's what I want is to choke. Leg lock is just like, Half didn't teach you that. He goes, this is old school, all right? And he goes, Kurt, leg lock won't kill you. You can still fight after your leg is locked. And I'm like, that's true. You could. And then so I was like arm lock school and everything like that, and Kimura and Americana and all that shit. It's awesome, but there's nothing more awesome than choking someone.
I agree that for a fight, the choke is king, like no question, because that's what puts you to sleep. It doesn't matter how tough you are, how strong you are. If your carotid artery is shut off,
that's what I teach my guys. Yeah. I go, hey, people, they shut down. I don't give a fuck how big they are. They will shut off.
Yeah. But with that said, how well does someone fight when they get their knee shredded, though? Like if you shred someone's knee up with a heel hook,
all right,
and you get back to the feet,
and
they have to stand back up and square up with you.
Okay, this guy heel hooks me.
Okay,
but I still have my short sword.
You still have your short sword?
Still have my short sword. And he's coming after me because he's right there. He's still heel hooking me, and I go, hey, and the heel hook is over.
Well, okay, but then so is anything, man. If someone gets you on your back, you can take your short sword and Roman gladiator style stab him.
If he's like this, no, he's not gonna be able to choke me.
Bro, I'm sure I could use a short sword to stab you like this. I'm sure I could.
But here, this is my defense is if the guy's on my back, I stab through myself into them. So
what do they call that when the samurai
win-win.
When the samurai killed it? What is that? It's
seppuku.
Seppuku, yeah.
Seppuku.
So you commit seppuku just to kill that guy, and then you say, "Ha ha, I killed you," and then you both die. That's glorious, Kurt. That's going out like a man for sure. I give you extra points for that one.
Look, I give all my guys these scenarios, and they're like, like, this guy's fucking crazy. And I'm all, and then like my backpack falls open and there's like ding, 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 ding. And they're like, what the fuck is all that shit for? I'm all, if there's more than one person, they're all dying. And they're like, fuck. I'm all, dude, I'm not going to attack them. They attacked me, and then I accommodate them. You know, it's like, fuck, it's not like I was hunting them. They came after me.
You're providing a valuable service, exactly, to society. Yes, of course.
Like, no, now that you have attacked me and outnumber me, I will now dispatch you.
And see, that would have been the follow-up question for most people is, yeah, okay, but how often are you carrying a Roman short sword with you? I, of course, known Kurt for, almost 10 years now. Exactly. So I know that your Roman short sword is probably always with you somewhere close by. So,
don't you?
Yeah. It's like,
doesn't everybody?
So what, are you guys a bunch of weirdos?
It's like, fuck, Kurt. Why do you have a tomahawk in your backpack? I'm all, in case I need to make kindling.
out of bones. Yeah.
Whatever. It's like, it's better to be ready than fucking, I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Leg locks, they're a great way to set up other things though. Like if you like chokes, because I agree with you, on the street, choke is king for sure. But man, leg locks are a great way to get the person to expose themselves by defending or bailing.
Well, exactly. They have to bail out. Unless they want to get caught in it, they have to do something extreme and totally arbitrary to get out of it, right? They usually have to turn their back to run away and get their foot out, right? Or they have to go on bottom. They're going to have to sacrifice position.
Yeah. And then if they're a power bottom, you're in big trouble.
It's funny. It's still funny. That's still funny.
That was stolen from Craig Jones. Dude, speaking of Craig Jones.
It's still funny.
It is.
Hey, what about that?
Yeah, what about that, dude? Well, what are your thoughts on the Craig Jones thing? Craig Jones versus ADCC.
I think he's got somebody with a lot of money, and they'll put and the guys want to get paid, right? And so he's drawing a lot of ADC guys that are like, well, if I go here, I get paid, and if you win it all, you get $1 million.
Yeah, and I like that he's giving $10,000 just to show too. So it's $10,000.
Right. Actually,
technically, it's $10,001 because $10,000 is the cash prize for ADCC. So he's saying, I'll give you $10,001 just to show up.
Right.
Yeah.
I told Steph to sign me up. I said, I'll fucking show up for 10 G's. Fuck yeah. And they're what's this old guy doing here? They're like, he's game. Fuck it.
Yeah, they don't know about the bionic hips, bro.
That's what I got to worry about. I just can't all of a sudden have my leg go like G.I. Joe and shit.
Yeah, right. Although, yeah, makes your guard to be harder to pass for sure.
Yeah, as I scream in pain while it's dislocated.
He's screaming at the top of his lungs, but retaining guard really well. This is very impressive. But dude, did you ever think that jiu-jitsu get to the point where there's $1 million cash prize? I mean, that's insane. That's for 2 divisions too.
It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, you think so?
I mean, as soon as the UFC started, I'm like, all right, so the Coliseum is back. You know? And what's the Coliseum for? Well, it's to distract the peasants from fucking revolting and shit, right? So there's a lot of crazy shit going on in this world right now. And so, no, I'm not surprised at all. It was just a matter of time before somebody said, hey, look, we'll put up the fucking money for this because it'll make money and it's cool, Yeah.
It's exciting, man. It's my only concern with it is that I hope that I'm just hoping it's sustainable. I'm hoping it's something they can continue to do every year or two, because as you know, there's obviously these opportunities in jiu-jitsu coming up. The question is whether or not there's going to be return on investment for the person that has all the money to say, hey, this is something I can totally do every year and make my money back and make profit, no problem. So this is the first one, so we'll just have to see how it goes. But man, I hope it turns a profit.
Or whoever the sponsor is, it also could be a tax write-off.
True.
So
true. Yeah.
I mean, if you got the right infrastructure and everything, then they'll figure out, oh, this is a donation and it was a tax write-off, and then somebody else has to deal with it.
Yeah, yeah. Or it could also be the kind of thing where you just have a guy that has more money than he knows what to do with. Like there's a lot of people like really made out in the whole cryptocurrency wave that we went through, where lots of people are overnight becoming like multimillionaires and billionaires.
Yeah.
It could just be someone like that who just loves jiu-jitsu and says, hey, I don't really give a shit to throw out a couple million a year just to have this thing going.
Yeah. Well, I got a couple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if you got a couple to throw at it like that, and he's doing really well.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe he just figures, hey, if I can just almost make back my money or make back most of it, then whatever. But anyway, I hope it's sustainable. That's my only thing. I just hope it's something that can continue to go on every year.
If it's just a one-off, then Abu Dhabi still wins.
Sure.
ADCC, still wins.
Yeah.
Because they do it every year, and they have been for many years.
I think that, ADCC and the World, IBJJF, those will all continue to be around. The question is going to be, is the prestige going to shift to wherever the money goes? Like currently the prestige is if you're a world champion in the IBJJF or an ADCC champion. Is that going to change now because all the very best guys are coming to make this money? Is that where the cream of the crop is going to be every year or every other year, however often they plan on doing this?
Right. I don't know, and then are they going to expand it to gi also? Because then you draw, the big names that are in the gi, but those guys usually can do both. So I think that, I can't wait to see it. That's what I want. I want to see the super fights, which is going to be pretty. I mean, Dern versus what's her name?
Fionn Davies. Yeah,
Fionn Davies. That's going to be different because, I mean, Mackenzie's really good in everything, and there's no punching in this, and so I mean, the last time I think I saw her fight, she did get clipped, and then that's totally a different venue. But now that it's all just grappling and everything, she's pretty. Yeah, she's solid. She's solid on her ground game and everything, and everything, So, is Gabby gonna fight Craig Jones?
Yeah, it's Gabby.
Oh my God,
isn't that great?
All right, so hey, all I know is I saw her with her friend at this place that was like. What do you want to call it? It's like soup and salad place because it was like day before weigh-ins and stuff like that. And she's like 2 feet taller than me. That's going to be an interesting fight. The Craig Jones and Gabby. Yeah, well, he's a huge motherfucker too. He's huge.
He's tall. He's a tall guy. Yeah. He's not as big as Gabby, but he's a tall guy. Did you ever see the video of him arm wrestling her, like as they were facing off in front of the table? Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah. Oh, it's hysterical, dude. His videos are so funny.
No, that's why I like him. He's funny.
He's a very funny
fucking
guy.
Funny.
Yeah, he's a very funny. I've had him on the show a few times. He's a really good dude. Really, really funny, cool guy. But yeah, the event's going to be great. Have you seen the ring that they chose? Like the style of
where's the venue? I heard it's like at the
Thomas and Mack
venue.
Yeah, Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas, the same place that ADCC was last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where's ADC? ADCC is going to be
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So that's going to be an interesting thing to see. Like they've got this huge arena booked out. Now there's this huge competing event on the same day, or at least they're going to cross over by a day. I'm wondering how much now that's going to hurt them renting out the T-Mobile arena, and not being able to fill.
That's fucking what, 50,000 people venue?
Huge. Yeah, that's where they host UFC, like major UFC events and stuff are hosted there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. So I know that not that many people are going to go to that. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people, don't get me wrong, but will it fill the stadium? I don't know. And it's on a Saturday, right? It's a Saturday or what?
Yeah. I would have said that for sure it would have. I think it would have filled the arena before this. And if not filled completely, at least close to capacity. I think it would have done really well because the last one did so well. And so now with CGI coming out, man, that's probably going to put a dent in their attendance for sure. The interesting thing though is ADCC still has a really good lineup. I mean, they got Gordon up against Pena and up against Yuri Simoes. So that's going to be awesome. Those are going to be some great super fights. And then there's still plenty of like really high level, high name, big name guys competing. So ADCC didn't, it's not like they have nothing going on, but it's just that they've got this huge roster of guys now crossing over to do CGI. So that's going to be
right.
Say CJI. Sorry, I keep saying CGI, CJI. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be. Do you think you'll go to the event?
Oh no,
that's in Vegas. It's not too far, right?
No, but I'm not. I'd rather watch it here in my living room on Flow or something. Whoever's going to carry it.
Yeah.
Unless they're going to pay-per-view it or something.
I think it's free on YouTube.
Cool.
Yeah. He was on.
I'll do that.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a viewing party at the house. We're going to have like one screen with Flow with ADCC on, and then I'm going to have a second computer monitor flipped sideways to watch CJI as it's going on. So we'll have kind of like both screens at the same time watching both events.
And it's on the same day and everything.
Yeah, there's a day that crosses over. Yeah. Because they're both 2-day events. So it's kind of like the one day in the middle is kind of where they're going to overlap, and that's going to cause that's what's causing all the friction. Yeah. So it's interesting, man. Either way, it's exciting times. I think truly competition, just like anything, competition breeds. It makes everyone better. It makes everyone push the boundaries and push their limits and give their very best. So it's only good for the sport, and especially when there's this much money getting thrown around too. That's great.
Well, I heard what's his name, Mickey Ryan is doing this CJI.
Yeah, because Nicky's part of B team. He's part of Craig's team. So all the B team guys are there for sure. Nicky's there. Yeah. So that's going to be, man, the names, every time they release new names, when he posts like, hey, here's this guy coming to CGI now, I'm like, dude, wow. Like these guys are getting really, really good people. This is going to be an awesome event. So exciting stuff, dude. Exciting stuff. And for grappling fans like me, man, it's great. I got these two awesome events side by side. I can literally just, I remember back in the day when I first started jiu-jitsu, man, you'd be lucky if you could find a streaming event of anything anywhere. And then when Flow started kind of covering all the events, you could keep up with it a little easier. But now, dude, it's a whole nother level now. Like I can literally sit and watch jiu-jitsu on a weekend and have like a jiu-jitsu fight night at my place, like we would a UFC party or something. And it's all jiu-jitsu. It's awesome. It's really, really cool.
What you don't see is you see high-level grapplers going to UFC, but you don't see high-level fighters going backwards into just grappling.
Well, they got Luke Rockhold though. Luke Rockhold's coming to CJI.
Yeah, but Luke Rockhold, he doesn't want to get punched anymore, so that's why.
So you're saying like active current guys right now that are.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
He was through, after his last fight, but he's definitely still a really good grappler and a relatively young guy.
Yeah, he is.
So
yeah, Luke's grappling too is unbelievably good. He's a very, very good grappler.
Yeah, for sure.
I was talking to Damian about that because Damian's got I think one more fight officially left on his career, that he's going to do. And then I asked him, I said, dude, are you going to do any more? Like, are you going to go? Do you think you'll come to grappling? He's like, oh yeah. He says like he seems like he'd really love to take some super fights or do some stuff. So that'll be cool to see Damian get out there.
Well, he's a young guy too. How old is he?
43 or something like that, or 40, 43.
Yeah, he's still good to go.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he smashes me weekly, so I know what the pressure and what his game feels like firsthand, and I can tell you it's still elite for sure. So it's
Yep.
So that'd be pretty cool to see. And then there's GSP. GSP is another one that's getting into the grappling stuff now too. So he's. When I say the grappling stuff, obviously I mean like competition, like specifically grappling competition. Right. Yeah. So that'll be cool. But I think we'll see more and more. I think especially as there's more money being thrown around like this. I mean, you can't help but being a guy in the UFC saying, hey, I could do that, like in between camps,
Well, instead of getting 5 Gs per fight and, you don't have to get punched and you get 10 G's.
10 G's just to show up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that sounds pretty
God
good.
God forbid you win, you're a millionaire. So that's pretty exciting stuff, dude. I'm really looking forward to August is going to be a good month for sure. Well, Kurt, man, I'll tell you what, we've reached the point of the show where we're going to take questions for you, man. We've got a bunch of people that sent in some questions for you. Guys, if you want to send in Kurt, we have Kurt on the show every month. In case you're not following the show regularly, Kurt's here every month pretty much. And we have an email dedicated to questions that you can send in for him. It's askosiander@gmail.com. So if you send an email to askosiander@gmail.com, include your first name and your city or state that you train in, and I will read your question on air to Kurt. All right, Kurt, first question comes in from Brian in New York. He says, hey, Kurt, I'm a big fan. I'm over 40 and I train 4 times a week. The issue is I find myself extremely sore after training, and towards the end of the week, it can be a real battle to show up for more just because I feel so beaten down. What should my training focus be when I'm feeling like this? I want to keep showing up consistently and hopefully earn my purple belt this year, but I've got to find a way to stay motivated to train when I feel like I got hit by a car after yesterday's training. I appreciate your advice in advance, and please never stop being you.
I don't know. Like I alternate. So like if I feel beat down, then I'll definitely take the day off, because there's no sense in me trying hard as fuck and getting my ass whipped anyway. And you can always just drill, on the days you feel beat up, just drill a lot, and that gets your blood flowing and gets your proficiency up higher. And then you don't get as beat up just drilling, and just alternate your days like that. Like today is my lifting day, and so I'll lift, and then I'll go in and I'll go, fuck, I'll try to roll around, and usually I'm shot. I'm just shot. And luckily I know how to get around stuff and everything, but it's a tough go. And then tomorrow I'll train, and then, Thursday's another lift day, and then Fridays, it all kind of runs together. Even if you're just teaching and doing the move over and over and showing the move, it beats me up a little bit now.
On the days that you do come in feeling really beaten up and sore, do you have particular things that you focus on? Like, are you mostly focusing on like defensive positions? Are you really relying on your half guard? Are there things are there like safe places, I guess, that you try to stay to keep yourself from getting...
I have to get to my position.
Yeah.
I have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just going to get ridden like My Little Pony, and fuck that.
That's awesome. Well, Brian in New York, I appreciate the question, buddy. Next one is from Mark in Florida. He says, what's up, Kurt? Did you take any supplements during your competitive career? And if so, what did you take?
Yeah, I take like BCAs, because that gets rid of the soreness and stuff like that. And then I would take, of course, a very potent crack juice to get going. And
an important staple of any good breakfast. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, you got to have some really good crack juice.
Yeah. And
then, BCAs, crack juice, and then, glucosamine, chondroitin, MSM, all the joint stuff that you can, and then just eat right, That's about it, Otherwise, it was like, just regular vitamins and BCAs and that's it, and joint stuff.
When you were actively competing, did you lift a lot of weights during that time too, or were you mostly just doing jiu-jitsu? Lifting
kind of keeps you moving, and so I found that when I was not doing anything, that was like, that's the worst for you, is to stop moving. And so once I started at Unbound and started lifting, I felt immediately better, because it sparks your neurology, it wakes up your muscles and stuff like that. I fucking, as soon as I started lifting, I dumped a bunch of weight. The only thing that doesn't lose weight is my nose.
You can do some nose, get one of those bull ring piercings and just hang some kettlebells from it.
I try wiggling it. It doesn't lose weight. It just is big. I get skinnier. My nose even gets larger. So If I'm fat, my nose is big. If I'm skinny, my nose is even bigger. So, fuck.
Mark in Florida, I appreciate the question. Next one is from Jeff in Chicago. Jeff says, hey, Kurt, hopefully this question reaches you because I'm a longtime fan and I need help with a frustrating issue. I'm a blue belt and I've been training for almost 4 years. I understand the mechanics of arm bars, but I always lose them when it's time to use them live. It's like my brain just completely farts in the moment. I always feel like I have a shitty angle and it feels like I'm just too slow to get in the right position. And of course, when I lose the arm bar, I immediately lose the position as well. So if I'm on top, they escape and scramble away. And if I'm attacking from guard, they escape and pass. How do I fix this? I'm starting to lose hope. Thanks for the awesome content you've put out over the years.
I just did like 2 weeks in a row for my guys. If your secondary leg, not the primary leg, also your primary leg, when it plants on the guy's hip or on the floor, depending if he's too tall or very, very small, you got to put that foot on the hip and close your thigh to him, because then he has another barrier, so it stops him from pulling his arm back. Now, if your secondary leg is weak, it does not break his posture so you can pass your leg over. So when this one plants on his hip, this one has to come up and it has to be strong, and your heel is focused on touching the back of his neck, right? And once I pass my leg over, I bring my heels to my butt and my knees to my chest, so I grab onto him. So he's not going to just pull away from you. And if he is pulling away that easily from your guard, it sounds like your secondary leg is really like sliding down his back. It's one thing getting in line and then passing it over, but if your leg then relaxes and goes down his back down to his waist again, he just pulls out because there's not 2 points of contact. You know, he's gonna have to like maybe just like start over, take a look at his arm lock and maybe film it a little bit.
So it sounds like there may be even though he feels like he understands the mechanics, he might be just missing a few things.
Yeah.
Do you feel like drilling, like repetitive drilling of the correct mechanics is being helpful?
And you don't have to arm lock your partner every time. You're just making sure that when you stomp on the hip, that your thigh is really close, that either I detach the leg or I slide it up the guy's back with friction. But the thing is, so this is the thing I go, if this is my front sights of my gun and I'm aiming at you, your arm is over here. So when the gun moves, the whole sight has to move, right? So I get perpendicular to him, right? So I cannot stay square. If I'm at all square to the person, it's never going to work. The whole hip structure has to turn like a gun sight, because I'm now trying to shoot his arm, right? If I was just going to shoot straight at him, then it would be fine. But everything has to turn. Everything is all about angle.
Now, how about from the top? So he says he's also losing arm bars from the top position as well. So what are some common mechanical errors he might be making there?
He may be like not passing his leg over the head and the guy's coming on top, or he's not turning the guy's head before he throws his leg over and he sits back instead of down the arm like you're sliding down the bat pole. You know, there's some like, and I see my guys do it and I go, look, you fuckers, you guys, fuck. This is like, if you had 10 things in your bag, you have to have your arm lock solid. You know what I'm saying? There's no way you can continue on without a good arm lock, because that one will save your ass in a pinch. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's usually something just really something fundamentally wrong. Depends who taught you. Like, I was fortunate enough to get taught by Half and Caesar, and they were really picky about that shit.
The detail you pointed out I thought was really good is the slide, like you said, sliding down the bat pole rather than just falling back to your back. I think that's a really common mistake you see people make with arm bars. And it's funny that he says he understands the mechanics of it, but then when it's time to go live, he just seems to screw it up somehow. And it might be that he's just excited to go for it or overzealous about it and not being tight and technically sound. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that was from, was it Mark? Jeff in Chicago. So Jeff in Chicago, go over those details and slow it down. Try slowing it down a little bit, drill it a lot. And remember the bat pole, not falling back to your back, slide down the bat pole instead. So good stuff, man. Kurt, I got another one for you here. Steven in Arizona. He says, what was your most memorable moment in competition?
It was at Master Worlds, and I thought I won, and they raised the other guy's arm.
I remember that one. Yeah.
All right. And so I don't remember when I win. I remember when I lose or I get fucked.
I remember that specifically. I remember you came up from the top and you were automatically waving your finger. Both you and the guy were waving your fingers. They like, no. And then they gave it to the other guy. I totally remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that event. Yeah. That actually leads us perfectly into the next question. It's Adrian from Santa Ana, California. He says, do you think there's ref bias in jiu-jitsu, or do you think it's just people making excuses for losing?
No, there is bias.
Yeah.
And there's bias and there's corruption and all these things. Just like in our wonderful system here in the United States.
For sure there's bias. I think there's bias and corruption in anything. But I think sometimes it can be hard though, because while there's real bias and real corruption, sometimes it can be mistaken. Sometimes just poor calls, like bad refereeing can sometimes be misperceived as bias, and it's one of those things that's really hard to tell sometimes. It's hard to tell if the referee if he just made a bad call, or maybe didn't see something, or if he's saying, hey, I don't like this guy for whatever reason, I prefer this person,
or all the above,
or it could be all the above. But yeah, I think it definitely, I agree with you, it definitely exists. I think that's just it's a human thing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Next one's from Carlos in San Jose. He says, hey, Kurt, huge fan. I want to compete, but I get really nervous competing in front of other people. How do I get over this?
You do it a lot.
Just do it a lot.
You do it a lot. And what really, really helped me, because I'm a psycho, so I have to get really, really warmed up. And so I find that if you get really warmed up, like a half hour worth of jumping rope or something, you get all that nervous energy out of you, and you're in your like second wind, you know what I'm saying? And all your functions are heated up, you know what I'm saying? Your lungs are heated, everything's heated, the core temperatures is already high, and everything. So I think a really good warm up helps with nerves, like big time.
That's excellent. Yeah. Good advice. That's, like you said, it's one of those things that really is just, you got to expose yourself to the anxiety. You got to it's exposure therapy, sort of. You have to. It seems overwhelming. Straight up. Yeah, but it doesn't get better. And it's funny. I've talked to everyone from name names who've been on this show. Buchecha is one of them. I remember specifically saying that to this day he still gets as nervous as he did when he was younger competing. He says for him it's just part of the game. So yeah, it's comforting. It's frustrating when you hear that it doesn't always get better necessarily, but it's also comforting knowing that even people at the very highest levels of the sport feel it too is helpful, So hang in there, Carlos. Hang in there, man. Kurt, that was actually the last one, man. So I appreciate everyone that sent in questions. Again, guys, if you want to send in questions to Kurt, you can email askosiander@gmail.com. And if you include your name and the city or state that you are from, I will read them on the show to Kurt. So send in the questions for the next episode. Kurt, man, anything big coming up in the next few months? You got anything else, anything on the table, any seminars, any traveling?
I've got nothing. There's no seminars. I did a workshop a couple weeks ago, but otherwise I'm totally empty. I'm just teaching and working on the house and working on me.
For anyone out there that wants to have Kurt out to your academy for seminars, talk to your coach. If you own a school, hit him up online. He's active on Instagram and all platforms.
Yeah.
So message him up. I can tell you firsthand experience. I've been to several of Kurt's seminars. They're always fun. They're unlike any other. So definitely book him if you can. You will get an experience for sure. If you have children, keep them outside unless you're comfortable with them hearing profanity. Other than that, it's a lot of fun.
I do a disclaimer now at the beginning. I'm all, look, I'm going to talk about some fucked up shit. I'm going to make fun of everyone.
I wanted to throw this out there. Stephanie sent me a picture of you. I think it must have been early 80s. Maybe mid 80s, early to mid 80s.
What, my rock star pose?
Dude. She sent me this picture. Can I post it, please?
Yeah, yeah,
right,
fuck yeah. Fuck,
All
that
right.
I was young and fucking,
Dude,
that was before jiu-jitsu and everything. I had even longer hair. I had fucking really long hair.
If you guys have Instagram, follow me
Oh my God.
at Gringo Ryan on Instagram. I'm going to post an epic picture of Kurt Osiander, what looks like maybe 24, 25-year-old Kurt Osiander, maybe younger than that even.
Yeah.
Full 80s, the hair, everything.
The high tops.
The high tops. Dude, this is an epic picture. I'm going to post it as soon as this episode goes out. And I'll also post that omoplata picture we laughed about earlier. So yeah, you guys check that out. Now, as far as following Kurt, guys, Kurt's on all platforms. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. It's at Kurt Osiander. Just type that in. You'll find him. Follow him. He's also on YouTube. His Move of the Week videos are starting to make a comeback. So make sure you guys are following there.
I got my cameraman got a hold of me. He goes, "You ready to do some more?" And I'm all, fuck yeah.
So far, the content's been great, man. So please keep it up. And then also, guys, if you're ever traveling through Northern California, he teaches at La Marinda Jiu-Jitsu in Lafayette, California, just outside of San Francisco. And he's also at Half's, Saturdays, Kurt? You're there.
Saturdays. And then I'm also at Sunset BJJ, which is a Ralph Gracie affiliate. And that's cool. Also in San Francisco. So Saturdays I'm in SF.
Awesome. So if you guys are ever traveling through San Francisco on a Saturday, drop into Half's or Sunset BJJ. If it's not a Saturday and you're just in the general Bay Area, go to La Marinda Jiu-Jitsu in Lafayette, California.
You can schedule me for a private if you want. I'll go where you are at, or we'll figure out something.
And he will do privates with you for sure. And again, guys, if you want to have Kurt out to wherever you're at in the world, hit him up because he does seminars everywhere. And Kurt, I appreciate your time again, man. Let's do it again next month as always.
You got it, bro.
All right, buddy. That's going to do it for this episode, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in. Please stay tuned for the next episode of the BJJ Fanatics podcast.